Hello! It's visit time. Last visit before we go up to the shelter. Oh. Hi, Mr. Sneezy. Yes. You are cats. You are in charge. Wash lots of faces. Lick, lick. You're such a good boy. Lick, lick. Hi, Bitey Bites. Aw, thank you. Yes, I'm sending them all the good luck as well. I hope they pick people soon. I hope they have lots of people come to audition. So there is a possibility they will come back next week. I talked with the foster coordinator yesterday, and she says that they're going to assess them in the foster room, and if the stress cystitis issues come back while they're in the foster room, they will probably come back here after we get back. And the shelter will still promote them. They'll still be for adoption, but I'll be working with the shelter to have the boys meet potential adopters, so that the boys can win them over in a environment where they are, where they will show themselves off well. So that's a potential. Don't know. I'll find that out next week when I get back. blep. Corn cob has a tiny blep. Mm. Did you go to lick my finger and then forget to put your tongue away? I'm Cob Topaz. Yes, you're a very good boy. I also hope so. They will get much more eyes on traffic if they are in the adoption room rather than my foster room. In my foster room, they only get online promotion and, you know, the cam. I think if they go to, if they come back for promotion, I might do a 24/7 stream for a couple of weeks so that the the adoption coordinator can, whoever's doing the promoting can link to the cam rather than my channel. So we'll see what happens. As my dad in computer programming likes to say, never say anything more definitive than watch this. And I have a con to help run between now and then. Right now, my brain is all over, you know, remembering that I have to add all of the full page printers to cups on the server so that they can print, and making sure I update who all gets the laptops, and remembering that I need to take my backup power supply because we have a power supply go wandering off. That's what's stuck in my head right now. And hoping that we run into all of the big problems in the integration testing on Sunday, and that the rest of the problems are small and not public facing. I think that's every IT's hope. Also, I will not be the head of IT next year, so yay! I will still be involved in the IT department, but I will not be the head. There will be there will be a whole lot fewer to-do list items for me next year. And I will not have servers sitting in my living room for weeks before con. Which, you know, having servers is kind of cool. I can go in, I've been learning how to do stuff, but dang, they take up a lot of space. Hi, buddy. Yes, I approve of less stressful next year. Next year I will go back to being the registration software specialist, and not the registration software specialist and the head of IT, because I took over IT after the previous department pretty much just said, screw this, we quit. Now, you know, volunteer organization, you can't tell somebody, no, you can't quit, but they pretty much just quit. And so I stayed on, and we ran the IT department for the last 2 years with a very small team, and somebody else gets to rebuild now. Anyway, that has nothing to do with the cats, other than that's why I've been not around very much the last week or so, or maybe even a couple of weeks. Well, it's been a month of very long days. Yeah. I think I'm hoping the fact that when I take the boys back that they now know a cat and have a buddy in the adoption room means that the adoption room will be less stressful for them. I'm hoping. I want them to show themselves off well because he is a fabulous lap cat and he is a huge snugglebug. I can't even believe that he was in the shelter for a whole year without being, he was in the shelter a whole year before I got him, and well, almost a year. And he is such a huge snugglebug, and I'm not sure anybody actually knew that, but they do now. Yeah, I know, right? They told me that he was at the shelter for a year and that he developed the blood in his urine just like in around the beginning of the year, I think. I'm not actually sure when I got him. I think I got him in January, the end of January. And so he developed the cystitis, the stress-related cystitis, sometime in the previous couple months. So the end of last year, beginning of this year, and he'd also been bullied in some of the rooms. He gets a little bit when he gets afraid, he kind of withdraws, and then that totally makes other. If you have a bully in the room, it makes him a prime target for bullies, and so they were having complications with that. But he is with Topaz now, and Topaz is good at saying, "Get out of my face." So hopefully, if they run into another bully, Topaz will be like, "Get out of his face, too." One can hope, anyway. Yeah. But Corn Cob is a big snugglebug. Okay, this is me setting a 10-minute alarm so I don't forget that I'm like supposed to pack them all up and everything. Also, so I have time to make a highlight of the visit before we head out. So like, leave my tail alone. Yeah, Topaz wasn't there for very long. In fact, Topaz went into the renal adoption room either the day I picked him up or the day before I picked him up. He wasn't even in the system. He was there so little time he was in the system. I mean, he wasn't actually in the system yet. He was a transfer from a different shelter. So Topaz's family tried really hard to take words are hard. Topaz's family tried really hard to reduce the stress amounts, but they have little kids, which makes it really hard to reduce the little kid's stress in a cat's life. And so they worked with their vet and then decided that it was best for him to go to a shelter to find a family that didn't have lots of stressful little kids. And then the shelter that they initially surrendered him to, he spent his entire time hiding and not doing well, and so he was transferred to Purrfect Pals to hopefully have a better chance. And then Purrfect Pals put him into foster with me really fast because he and Corncob have the same cystitis stress issues, and they're on the same diet, and so they decided to see if we could get them to work together. And they're doing really good. I'm not going to say they're bonded, but I think they both do well with other cats, and they at least have a friend now. And they're probably going to when they do the promotion, say, hey, it would be nice if they could be adopted together, but we understand if they can't. Or something like that. I don't know how they're going to word it. I know that I would have to, that I don't have kids, but if I had kids, it would be a really hard decision to choose between the furry kids and the human kids. But you kind of you get in more trouble for giving up the human kids because the cat. But I think of my cats as family, so that would be really hard. That said, I really respect a family that will make a choice that is best for the cat rather than best for them, because that those can be really hard choices. Hi, yes. It's really hard to put to say this is the best thing, that this is going to be the best thing for this cat, and even though it hurts me and I hate doing it, um, I would give up the kids first too, but I don't have kids, so I can't make that decision. Also, again, you get in more trouble for giving up the kids. I just gave them up by not having them in the first place. And I don't know anything about the family beyond the fact that they had little kids, and they tried really hard. They worked really hard with their vet. Apparently, they did a lot of medical work trying to keep Topaz, and then they ultimately made the decision that was best for Topaz. Although it doesn't feel like it when he's all lonely and lost and trying to figure out what the hell's going on. But there you go. It is complicated, and I don't know. There are lots of decisions people could make, but you don't know unless you're that family in that position. You don't know what options they have available. They did. They did a lot of. There's a pretty long medical record that he has of all the things that the vet tried and all of the work that they did to try to calm things down. But it was he actually had crystals. I think he actually had blockage crystals, and so I've had a cat die from a blockage, and it goes really fast. So you don't mess around with blockages, and if you can't calm them down, then you're talking about death for the cat versus not knowing what's going on. So it's a hard thing. My cat was a partial blockage, and we think it was caused by, it was after surgery, and we think it was caused by the pain patch medication he was on, and it was traumatic for all of us, including the vet, because I took him into the vet going, something's not right, and they're like, holy crap, his bladder's really full, and so, and it was complicated. It was complicated all around, and I would not wish death by blockage on anybody. Cats are hard. They're wonderful. They make life better, but they're hard. But he's going to make somebody a really nice housemate. He's a good lap cat. He likes to play. He's Topaz. Corncob is also, he's either a good lap cat or a good chest cat. Obviously. Downside to being a chest cat is he's a face licker. In the bio that I wrote up, I don't know how much they'll use, but in the bio I wrote up, I'm all like, I wrote it from his point of view, and I'm all like, I like to give my mom nose kisses and face washes, and man, who needs a fancy exfoliating scrub when I'm here to help? I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I think they would be good for older adopters. Somebody who's retiring. Not a household with little kids. Not a household with lots of crazy pets. I think they both do well with other cats. But it has to be the right other cats. Mr. Corncob needs a non-aggressive cat. And Topaz needs somebody that's not going to stress him out. And I'm sending the cat dancer back with Topaz or with Corncob because this is his favorite, less destructible toy. So anyway, I am hoping they have lots of eyeballs on them and that they get to audition many people, many potential adopters, and choose a good family. And if they get really stressed while I'm gone at con, then they get to come back to the break room and have more low stress chill out time while we work on finding them people. Do you want some cat dancer time too? You're like, I'm napping. Why are you giving me this thing? I know there hasn't been nearly enough playtime in the last couple of weeks. Oh, not nearly enough playtime. I think one of the hardest things for getting Corncob adopted is some of his litter box habits. Like he doesn't like pee out of the box on purpose. Well, okay, when he's stressed, he sometimes does because accidents. But when he's not stressed, he still sometimes forgets to squat and pees on the wall behind the boxes, which is why I have plastic up and why I got tall boxes. Also, he finds car rides extremely stressful and uses his carrier as a litter box. So he needs I think if it was my cat, I would be either getting a kennel, like a big kennel, a big travel kennel, like when you would use to move a cat cross country or something like that, with a litter box, or I would harness train him and let him be free in the car with a litter box. Because I think he'd rather use the litter box than the carrier. But we don't have that option since he's not my cat. But that's I think the biggest obstacle for Corncob getting adopted, which is kind of rough because he has to find the exact right person who understands these things and is willing to work with him. Topaz has impeccable litter box habits. Impeccable. All right, I gotta start packing these guys up. So I gotta leave in 10 minutes. Actually, I should leave. I should check traffic is what I should do. I have to go opposite of rush hours, so it shouldn't be as horrible, but one never knows. Because Seattle. Oh good, it's green all the way, so we should be good. All right. We're going to send this toy back with him so that he can have a favorite toy at the shelter. Because this is one of his favorite toys. And I should send his ratty back with him, although it's pretty beat up. I'll show you a close-up. It's pretty fun looking. This ratty used to look like this ratty. And I brought this ratty home, and within a couple of hours, the tail was gone. He destroyed this ratty really well. Yeah, you're going to get a ratty. And I'm going to send this catnip toy back with Topaz, because this is his favorite, one of his favorite toys. But we're not going to put Corn Cob's toys in the carrier with him because they will get messed up. All right. Let's do this thing. They're like, no, not the carrier. Ratty ratties, I like it. Thank you, Bitey Bites. As much as I would love to see them back again, I hope they don't come back. If they're doing really good at the shelter, I will, I'll go up and visit them and take a couple pictures. All right. Say goodbye, Internet. Nope, you gotta stay in there, buddy. I know it's not fair. We'll take this with us because they like this bed. Oops. Bong. I don't think I've seen you up there, Corn Cob. Come on. Oh, so much woe. So much woe. Corn Cob, come. Good boy. Yes, I will give you a treat too. Good boy. There's a couple treats in there. Sorry I didn't give a close-up of Corn Cob. It's okay. We're going to go see Auntie Susan. We're going to go see Auntie Susan. All right. Toys. Toys and treats. That's a little overkill. The laughing bunny poop scoop bag. Because this is the right size. I should take that back. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I know, it's so much wool. All right, so we're going to do a little bit of a, we're going to do a brief, I'm going to do a highlight before I leave the room. Because I can. All right. And so I'm going to say, it's going to be a little weird. I'm going to say goodbye. But then I'm going to do a highlight. But I want to say goodbye so that I can like turn off the stream or finish the highlight. So, highlight.